Hey, I'm Alex. Welcome to the Bike Rehab YouTube channel. Here today we're doing a bearing kit change and service on this Mark 1 YT Capra. The bike's come into the workshop after a full season's worth of use with loads of play in the rear swing arm bearings, a rear tyre that needs to be replaced, and just generally feeling a bit tired. So let's give it a test ride. The play in the rear swing arm bearings just makes the bike feel real sloppy. If you're trying to accelerate, you can feel the movement and the wiggle in the back end of the bike there. The brake's definitely not feeling 100%, so this needs a lot of work to get it back to 100%. Time to start stripping the bike down. This is one of my favourite tools. It's called a Pedros Vice Whip, and it replaces the older style chain whip which holds your cassette in place whilst you remove the lock ring. It's just so much easier to use and holds the cassette real tight. Removal of this race face crankset actually uses a Octolink or ISIS drive style crank puller. So here's the Park Tool CCP 44. Now the bike's stripped down, it's getting a full wash. All the components are now nice and clean, so we can start the rest of the work. Because I need to remove the swing arm from the back of the bike and it's got an internally routed gear cable on the back here, just pop in a sleeve through the back of the triangle to make it really easy to put a new gear cable through or to put the existing cable back through once I've finished the bearing kit work. So the whole back end of the bike's now going to come apart, starting by taking the shock out, then removing all the bolts that hold the swing arm in place. All of these bolts are held in with Loctite 243. So before removing these, I've just popped the heat gun over it for a few seconds to warm that up to make removing the bolts way easier. Now it's time to start taking the bearings out. Each of the different sections of the linkage needs a different style of bearing removal. Sometimes it's just as easy to use a nut and a bolt and a spacer to remove some of the bearings as it is to use a full-size bearing puller. So in this case, we're just using a really simple method. So the linkage and the swing arm are now fully removed, all the bearings out, all the hardware out, ready for reassembly. I always use a Loctite medium strength bearing retaining compound when installing frame bearings. Make sure that they sit in there nicely, stay creak free, and then they're easier to remove later down the line because you can warm that Loctite back up again to release the bond, make them easy to get out later on. All the frame bearings are now being pressed in. The bike is using Enduro bearings from Kinetic Bike Bearings. They come as a full set for this YT Capra. And here the swing arm's going back on, all the bolts being reinstalled and torque checked. Next on the list is replacing that heavily worn rear tyre. Tubeless, popped on straight away, nice and easy. It's now down to the more basic sections of the service, refitting the cassette, setting up the brakes, gears, get the bike rolling sweet. Cool, service is all complete. Time for a test ride. It's crazy the amount of difference it makes to a bike when it's got a fresh set of frame bearings in the back. No more movement, bike feels tight, accelerates better, feels really good. And here's the end result, ready for some more laps in the hills. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Take a look at our other videos, and if you have any questions, just pop them below.